one is sorority racist. It's like, we like you, Rhonda, but you're not a Kappa.
Roasting celebrities to their face is a show art form that has all but died out in the history of comedy, and is a high-risk one. When a joke is made about someone famous, it is one thing to do it on stage when he or she is not in the room. It becomes a totally different animal when they are sitting 10 feet away and they are staring at you and cameras ready to take that response. This ability demands not only the use of wit, but near superhuman courage. It involves being able to read a room and to give punches, but in a way so funny that the target has no other option but to laugh. Although a few comedians attempted to do so throughout the years, one can distinguish one who has been considered the master of this process in its pure form, and whose name is undisputably Chris Rock.
The hardest worker I know. Yeah. I mean, next to Michael Strahan. I mean, come on.
This is the structure of a Chris Rock roast. These are the most memorable scenes where he demonstrated that nobody is safe in comedy. Chapter 1, The Billionaire and the Boxer. To begin with, there was a masterclass in power roasting. In 2020, Chris Rock strolls on stage with Steve Martin in an appearance that is viewed by the whole Hollywood. It was a room full of A-listers, but among the attendees, there was one person who was more noticeable. Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the planet, was sitting in the audience. He got into the head of Bezos, and he did not take his head off. He began thus by ridiculing the short-lived acting career of Bezos, pointing out that with all his wealth, he was not much of a winner at the Oscars.
Jeff Bezos is so rich, he got divorced, and he's still the richest man in the world.
Chapter 2, The Legendary Jennifer Lopez Moment and Puff Daddy Mentorship. Many years prior to the Bezos roast, many years prior to the Oscars controversy, a young Chris Rock was causing a commotion at the 1999 MTV VMAs. It was in the midst of MTV when Video Music Awards were the most unpredictable, chaotic, and must-watch TV events, and Chris Rock had the job of introducing Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo was at the echelon of her fame. She had just made that legendary green Versace dress, which had shattered the internet. Even shatter the internet had not become a reality yet. She was in the audience, hoping to receive a normal introduction. The moment that was to be repeated throughout decades was what she received.
That's right. She came with 2 limos, one for her, one for her ass. That's right.
Rock would later on at the 2003 VMAs shift his focus to another music mogul, P. Diddy. Back then, Diddy was a successful reality show producer, Making the Band, in which he was mentoring young upcoming musicians. This was the premise that Rock used to present one of his most underestimated roasts.
My favorite show on MTV is Making the Band with P. Diddy.
It was an allusion to the legal problems of Diddy with weapons, and it hit like a bomb. Rock was not only caramelizing the performance, but the entire character of a man who had made an empire despite the perennial controversy, and he did it with Diddy right there with him. Chapter 3, The Art of Roasting the Host, David Letterman. One way to test the nerve of any comedian is to see whether he or she is capable of roasting the person who not only heard them, but has invited them to come to his or her show. Television network is a regulated world. The host is king. The visitors are supposed to be polite and advertise their projects and laugh at the jokes of a host. Chris Rock is never following those rules.
I have to pretend to enjoy.
Right.
I want some singing kid. That Will Smith messed it up for everybody.
But Rock suddenly observed something. Letterman's voice was hoarse. His marriage was crumbling before people, and he was still appearing to do the show each night. An opening appeared to Rock, and he took it.
You're a rich man. You can just go home. Wife's still mad at you, ain't she?
The listeners simultaneously gasped and laughed. Rock was squarely talking about the elephant in the room, the well-publicized marital troubles of Letterman on national television. Chapter 4, The Night They Partied and Raised Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is among the most victorious comedians globally. He is also one of the most roasted. However, it is something different to see Kevin Hart roasted by some of his colleagues, and more so when Chris Rock is in the picture. During a tribute to Hart, Rock had the chance to commemorate his fellow comedian and at the same time kill him like a best friend.
A lot of excellent black movies, man. And some of them don't even have Kevin Hart in them.
The brilliance of such jokes lies in the fact that they are ridiculing the work ethic and ubiquity of the man, Hart, but at the same time recognize that he is a star. You must be an enormous star in order to be joked at being in everything. The Prius gag is best of all since it juxtaposes the giant fearsome Transformers figures with the tiny, practical, and eco-friendly Prius, the ideal car choice of the tiny Hart. And it did not end with the roasting. The same jokes were made several years later during another ceremony celebrating Kevin Hart part in front of his wife? Nico, comedian Nikki Glazer went on stage and immediately attacked the jugular.
Look at him, look at that smile. Got that second wife happiness.
The second wife happiness joke was a direct allusion to the infidelity scandal and divorce of his first wife that was quite publicized by Hart. It was a very personal topic with a smile on it in the presence of his present-day wife. The room remained silent a little and then burst out in laughter. Chapter 5, the Oscars, fake smiles, and the night Sean Penn fired back. Academy Awards are expected to be classy. They are expected to be respectable. It is the Hollywood night to congratulate themselves and feign that things are fine. Chris Rock has never taken interest in that pretense. He has made the Oscars his own personal comedy club throughout his career and taken a swing at the biggest stars in the world when they are sitting there in their designer dresses and tuxedos. Rock, 2005, made one of his most brilliant observations concerning the nature of awards shows in 2005. He had been referring to the historic win of Halle Berry a few years before when she won the Best Actress, the first black woman to do so. But the win was not a concern of Rock. He was concerned about how the other nominees would react to it.
Nicole Kidman was smiling so wide, she should have won an Emmy at the Oscars for her great performance.
The brilliance of this joke lies in the fact that this reveals the great pretense of award shows. These are competitions. These people are rivals. They have spent months doing campaigns against one another, and when one of them loses, they are supposed to sit there and smile as though they are really glad the winner. According to Rock, the smile of Nicole Kidman was not a smile of happiness. It was a performance on its own, which deserves its award. It was a brilliant comment concerning the imposed courtesy of Hollywood, which was made when Kidman was sitting somewhere in the audience.
You want Tom Cruise and all you could get is Jude Law? Wait.
However, not all people thought it was funny. Sean Penn later arrived on stage to give an award in the show and used his stage to retaliate on Rock.
Forgive my compromised sense of humor, but I did want to answer our host question.
There was a continued heat in the room. Penn was literally fighting against the host on behalf of his friend and colleague. It was an unusual pushback against a Chris Rock roast, and it indicated that even the most skilled comedians could sometimes be hit in the nail. The professional Rock did not react and took the moment as a part of Oscars history, a reminder of the consequences of roasting. Chapter 6, the Jada, Will, and the Slap heard round the world. The slapping incident at the 2022 Oscars would be the elephant in the room of any discussion of the roasting career of Chris Rock. But to get to know that moment, you need to know the history. Chris Rock had been making jokes about Jada Pinkett Smith several years before Will Smith would do the same on that stage.
Jada's gonna boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties.
However, in 2022, the situation was different. Will Smith went to the stage and punched Rock when Rock joked about him having a shaved head, mentioning G.I. Jane. Rock dealt with it in his typical combination of humor and wisdom in his stand-up special following the incident. Rock also took advantage of this to comment on other scandals, such as those of Meghan Markle with the royal family of Britain.
Was not racism. It was just some in-law.
This joke demonstrates that Rock can find subtlety in cultural heated moments. He wasn't dismissing racism. What he was implying is that not all frivolities are racial related. Sometimes it is family dysfunction. It is a more advanced way the majority of the comedians would do, and it worked because Rock presented it with his customary confidence. Rock was especially resourceful in handling Jesse Smollett when his name was mentioned.
Yeah, I know. What a waste of light skin, you know?
Chapter 7, the controversial ones. Chris Rock has never been afraid to go controversial. As a matter of fact, he appears to be a tractionist and takes limits to the maximum extent possible before the audience turns against him. In one of his stand-up specials, he took down Rick Ross with the help of a launching point that was his success with Beats headphones.
Rick Ross even has headphones. That's right, Dre got Beats, Rick Ross has diabetes.
The mention of the joke found its way on the side of Ross, his weight and health issues, which are borderline good taste. But to the audience of Rock, it was a hit because it was presented with confidence and accuracy. Chapter 8, Trump, Musk, and Political Fire. Politics has never been a foreign territory to Chris Rock, and over the last few years, he has had ample material to work with. Rock, who will be the host of Saturday Night Live within the 2024 election, made a monologue attacking both Donald Trump directly and the richest man in the world.
Big thing, Trump, man, Trump. Trump, man. Trump had a good year.
It is a decent line as it admits the political success of Trump, but makes it clear that Rock does not believe that he is the one who deserves any of his political success. It is the type of joke which will gratify the audience of Rock without being so mean that it may make an impression on average viewers. However, Rock turned to face Elon Musk, and the jokes became even more direct.
Oh, the richest African American in the world, Elon Musk.
This line refers to the fact that Musk was raised in South Africa, and this nation had a complicated experience with racial segregation and oppression. It is a serious joke that makes light contacts, and it demonstrates how Rock is ready to reach embarrassing places to find the laugh. Chapter 9, Pop Culture, Family, and the Art of the Quick Jab. This is one of the best qualities that Chris Rock exhibits. He can laugh at anything, anytime. In a TV interview, he saw a poster advertising reality show Growing Up Gotti and proceeded to improve a routine about how ridiculous it was.
Show I let him watch is I don't understand, is Growing Up Gotti? What?
It is the standard Rock formula of seizing an apparently unrelated observation and formulating it into a complete comedic thesis regarding the obsession of American culture with criminals. Appearing next to Sofia Vergara at an event, Rock made a compliment a fast fire joke at the then husband, Joe Manganiello.
Hey, forget it. Don't see my movie, see her.
Even his own family isn't safe. In the second episode of The Tonight Show, Rock compared the personalities of his two daughters to a highly hypothetical and humorous one.
My daughter Lola, right? You know, she's amazing, right?
The joke is effective because it is relatable, because every parent understands that his or her children have different personalities and have different degrees of credibility. Rock simply plays that observation to the absurd, violent end. Chapter 10, The Ones That Got Away. Chris Rock has demonstrated during his career that he can find the ideal analogy to the relationships between celebrities. He made one of his most memorable comparisons when he talked of Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri.
My favorite celebrity couple of the year is Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri.
What sets Chris Rock apart of all other comedians that have attempted to roast celebrities to their face? It is not only his wit, but his wit is unquestionable. But it is not only his timing, which is perfect, it is his utter and total fearlessness. This is the key to the success of Chris Rock. That is why he becomes the final king of the celebrity roast. In a business that operates on fake and acting, Chris Rock is the genuine article, and that is why no one at all can cook celebrities to their skin like Chris Rock. Thanks for your viewing to the very end. If you want more videos like this, then smash that subscribe button before you lose time. And comment, what celebrity would you pay to watch Chris Rock roast? You will be caught in the next video.